perfect example of that is Guatemala back in the 1940s, the 1950s with our bands. We take a guy out who's democratically elected because we want to give some kind of power to some American oligarchs. And then we start a civil war where some 100,000 people die, and then all the people leave and come to the United States. And now we're mad that they came to the United States. So what the hell do we expect them to do, right?
It's a very well observed and understood phenomenon. Invade the world, import the world. And it's been going on for many, many decades in the United States. And so at this point, it's not an accident. So if the very people in this administration who are in charge of protecting our border are pushing a war in, say, Latin America, invading Venezuela for some reason and arresting its president for some reason, totally insane, or what they're doing in Cuba right now, or what they just did in Iran in February, those people know that the result of all of those conflicts is going to be mass migration into the United States and Europe. So it's not like they can claim ignorance. They know what the effects are. So you have to sort of wonder, maybe that is the point. And then you watch what just happened in Spain, where Spain gets sideways with the government of Israel, and all of a sudden it gets invaded from North Africa, and the Israelis are like, yeah, we did that. Oh, so maybe mass migration is used as a weapon. Well, of course it is. It always has been. It has been since the Mongols swept across the steppe into Russia. It has always been. The Bible describes it repeatedly throughout the Old Testament. Mass migration, the replacement of one population by another, is a tool of war. It's an act of war. And that's happening now. And it's happening to the United States and to the West without kind of our understanding of what's happening. Like, oh, this just happens. Maybe they're responding to a labor shortage. I don't think so. This is an effort to end these countries, these historic. The United States government, which is the largest human institution in history, has more people and more funding than any human institution ever, has been completely hijacked by people who are using the United States for their own purposes, who have no real interest in the United States and its future, who aren't tied to its past, and who are basically just wearing it as a skin suit in order to, who knows what, lots of things. But none of them have to just understand the nature of power. So power follows capital. Like, what is power? It's the ability to effect change. It's the ability to get things done, to see your will enacted into some physical form, right? Yeah. So what gets things done? Money. So what are the global power centers? The global capital centers, of course. So if a country, has a democratic system and elections and politicians and all that stuff, but that country has, companies or individuals within it who are billion or trillionaires, who's really got the power? The voters? No, of course not. Capital has the power, always. That is just a fact. And that's why it's a pretty good idea, if you want to continue your democracy, to make sure that elected officials are more powerful than companies. Otherwise, democracy is itself in your country, your society, your civilization. So someone's always going to be in charge. And the question is, who is that person? Is that someone whose job you have some control over, like through an election? Or is it someone you have no control over whatsoever? Like, I don't know, the guy who runs Apple, right? Or Google. And so that's really your choice. Are you going to have any say in how your society is run, or aren't you? And if you are going to have say, then it has to be a political leader. Political leader has to be more powerful than any oligarch. And we don't have that. But I would say that's true globally in the West. Yeah. And the only people in Russia go to jail for criticizing the government or government policy on social media. And the numbers are public. And I was amazed to find out that 3 times as many people in Britain, which has a much smaller population than Russia, under 100 million, Russia's 150-ish, 3 times as many Britons go to jail for social media posts as Russians. Yeah. I'm not endorsing Russia, but I'm just saying, like, which is the more totalitarian country? Well, obviously it's Britain. By definition, it's Britain. You can watch British television in Russia. You cannot watch Russian television in Britain. That's right. So which is a more repressive nation? It's really simple. These are obvious, non-rhetorical, non-ideological measurements of reality. Who goes to jail? What access to information?